Hello, everybody. And of course, this is the night I'm supposed to be on time and efficient. And I forgot to send the link out to Leonard. But anyway, we'll get to that. But hello, everybody. You're going to see me look to my right. You're probably seeing it to your left quite often because, as you can see, we have the ladies of Steeler Nation. That's just a name I came up with, nothing generic. But we have the ladies from the chat, big time fans, and they will be running the show for the most part. Of course, I will be helping them along as far as just giving my 2 cents here and there on their topics, but it's their topics, literally their topics. So I want them to dictate the show, and I want you guys to give them the respect they deserve because they know what they're talking about, and they're fans. They're fans. So let's maybe not focus so much on the fact that they're ladies and just listen to their fan perspective. But before we get going, first thing we're going to do, man, is I'm going to do what I always do. I'm going to say hello to some of the early viewers, and then I will have the lovely ladies introduce themselves, and then we'll give you a great show. So what's up to Sasquatch, Big Dro, Let's Toast Media, Zuwami, a few late nights, my good brother Ron Simpson, Stillmatic, Daredevil, Drama Sidell, Builder's Life, Vista Light, Rajon 39, good brother Kenyon in the building, and Jordan Mid, and we'll read one more because I don't want to take too much time. Mr. Winningham, how you doing tonight, sir? So let's have at it, and hold on, guys. We're gonna try really quick. Destiny is having a little bit of technical difficulties. Let's see if she can hear us. Hold on, guys. Hello, Destiny. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you this time.
Yes, perfect. Now we have Destiny as well.
Hey, Debbie, everyone.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, Destiny.
Good. Because I was informed by the other ladies that most of these topics are Destiny. So it would have been a little crazy for us to talk about her topics and she not be on. So without further ado, guys, I'm going to let them introduce themselves. And to you ladies, my bad, I should have said this before we started, but just, to kind of give you a little bit of the ropes. If you're listening to me without headphones, just try to keep it a little low because if not, it'll give us feedback, in your mic because StreamYard is not like Zoom where it will cut out, See, there it is. I can hear the feedback right there. So, but we'll make it work. But all right, I'm going to step away. I'll throw it to Odessa first. So let me properly put them on the screen. And you can try to introduce yourselves, starting with Odessa.
Well, hi, my name is Odessa. I currently reside in Jacksonville, Florida. I moved here 7 years ago from Columbus, Ohio.
All right, Odessa, I'm up next. It's Laneisha. I reside in Palm Bay, Florida, so I'm not too far from Miss Odessa. And I've been in for a really long time. We just won't say how long. Laneisha, I reside in Palm Bay, Florida, so I'm not too far from Miss Odessa. And I've been in for a really long time.
Oh, hey. I had a moment. Hey, so it's funny that we're all in Florida. I'm currently in Orlando, just came down from St. Louis. Originally from Ohio. I told the other ladies, I'm lucky that my dad caught me young. And was the Steelers in Orlando, just came down from St. Louis. And just a little tidbit, I played football, so one of the reasons why I love the game and talking about it.
That is up next.
For me? Hello, everyone. I'm Debbie. I think I'm the furthest north of everybody. I'm from New Jersey, and I'm glad to be here to talk with you guys.
We're happy you're here, Debbie. Debbie is one of the first that I can recall that commented.
The first lady.
That's why I'm always going to refer to her as Miss Debbie. And y'all understand that, but she was the first. And I think after that, it might have been Laneisha, but who's counting? But I definitely remember that Debbie was the first. So there you have it. And Sade, you are up next.
Hey, my name is Sade, lifelong Steelers fan. I'm born and raised in Charleston, South Carolina.
Charleston. I'm familiar with Charleston, actually. My brother went to, and just to go sidetrack really quick, based off of what we were talking about previously, before the show started, he went to the Citadel. So imagine that. But yeah, I'm definitely familiar with Charleston. But all right, man, let's get to it. And I was about to type it, but I might as well just say it out loud so you know. Odessa, I think the background noise, the echo may have been coming from your mic because when I muted it, it went away. So if you need to say something, just throw your hand up or what have you, and I'll bring you in. But I just want to make sure we don't have, too much of the background noise. But I will ask you all, which topic would you all like to cover first? Let me read them to the people. Okay, my bad. I just did something crazy there. Just messed up. But anyway, let me read the topics. And I think we should start with the first one. Mike Tomlin signs a 3-year extension with the Steelers. And I definitely want to hear the ladies' thoughts on that. So I think we'll start with that one. After that, we will talk about what position group or player do fans have high expectations for. After that, who do you think the Steelers will be in 2021 and 2022? I think that's a very good topic. The next topic will be, can the Steelers risk passing on a running back at 24? And the last question or topic or what have you will be the fan perspective. And this is more of just a comment where the ladies will talk about things in general, like visits to the stadium, training camp, and etc. So I look forward to hearing that as well, because I can share some of my stories. So again, starting with the rotation, we'll go to you first, Odessa. First up, how do you feel? Mike Tomlin has been signed for another 3 years, keeping him with the Steelers for technically now, I think, will be 4 seasons counting this one. What are your thoughts on that?
I actually think it was a good idea that he was re-signed. He seems to have a very good, attitude towards football. The players definitely, relate to him well, and he has good pedigree. And I at this stage where the Steelers, I don't think anybody else would be able to come in there and relate to the players like he does and be able to run that team. And I think he learned a lot of things from last season. And I think we should see great things from him and the rest of the team going forward. This will be his 15th, to be his 15th year in the season. I'm sorry, with the Steelers. And he's, one of 3 head coaches from 1969.
And it was said that they think that continuity might have something to do with it. That's one of the sources that came out. So if that is the case, if you want to comment on that and then throw it to Laneisha, does that change your thoughts in any way? Or do you kind of, go along with that would be a good thing and that he's kind of a bridge? Because one thing I wanted to point out is he is going to be there, assuming now post Ben Roethlisberger. That's interesting. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree with that, with the continuity. He does have a good feel for football. The players love him. And, it's hard to find that type of chemistry. And I think he is good for the team. And the Rooneys like him as well. So I think it's good for the team, yeah.
Laneisha, what are your thoughts on that?
Hey there. I think everybody knows I'm a Coach Tomlin fan, so I was happy he got re-signed. I think consistency is key, especially now, because when Big Ben goes, if you get a new coach and you've got different people, I think it just, I don't know, maybe wreaks a lot of havoc. So if you can get somebody who's been there, knows the system and knows the players and the team, it's helpful. I'm also a fan of his wife, and she says the nicest things about him on her Instagram page. Not only is he, there for the players and the coaches, but he's been there for her and just people in the community. So, I mean, I know he's the coach and that's his job, but I also like him as a person. And I think he is really not only dedicated to the sport, but to the team and the players. And to me, in this day and age, that means a lot. So, I will continue to cheer him on and wish him well.
There you have it. Destiny, your thoughts? Oh, Destiny. She might be frozen. Looks like she's frozen. Deb, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, go ahead. Take it away, Debbie.
Well, you kind of took my thunder a little bit. I like the extension. My thoughts, I think initially was that what does that do with Ben? They must have faith, in the fact that Tomlin is going to be there after we believe Ben will be gone from the team. But it's interesting also because Kevin Colbert is on 1-year contracts. So, and since we've kind of know them as like a package or like a team, if you will, in itself, is Kevin Colbert gonna still be there, like 1-year contract in and out till 2024, or is Thomas like last year maybe a dummy year, if you will? But for the most part, like Laneisha, I like Tomlin. I think he's proven himself. I have no issues with that at all.
Me neither. In case everybody wants to know my thoughts, but I'll get to that in a minute. Sade, you're next. What are your thoughts?
I like Coach Tomlin. Like he has a winning culture. I know he catches a lot of flack for playoff losses and stuff, but I would like to say that those are not always in the form of coaching and strategy. You actually have to go out there and execute. So I think he's a great coach. I believe if we fired him, teams will line up to hire him. I mean, that's just the way it is. I love Coach G, and he's a player's coach, and I think the players vibe with him, and I think that's important.
I had myself on mute, my bad. Absolutely, I agree with that 100%. We got Destiny back. So, Destiny, if you want to share your thoughts on the Mike Tomlin extension.
I'm like 80-20 on it because I do love Coach Tomlin too, but he kind of reminds me of Doc Rivers, if anybody understands that reference, who's an NBA coach.
Uh-oh.
Stop playing, Destiny. Stop playing. You're talking about my coach.
Look, Doc Rivers is a good coach. He is. But we saw him just get fired by the Clippers because he led them into the playoffs. But 2 times he was up 3-1 in a series, and he ended up losing those series. And, what's different from him to me as opposed to Coach Tomlin is, okay, he had a Ty Lue on his staff that could immediately step up into that position and get that job. With me, if I look back on Coach Tomlin's, his staff, his coordinators, who's pushing him or who's adding something, to really make things different when we think we've gotten out-coached and out-schemed? Because you guys can't tell me there's games you don't think that we've gotten out-coached in. When I watched the Clippers last year and they were playing the Mavs and then the Nuggets, it's like, what are y'all doing on defense? How is Luka going off? And then how is Jamal Murray going off? So for me, it's like I do love the rehiring, but Coach Tomlin somehow has gotten this far in his career and he doesn't have a coaching tree. So for me, there might be some type of disconnect there. And I don't know what it is, but I do want to see something change this year as far as the way the team conducts itself, how we come out of December, how we just finish games and finish strong and finish seasons strong. So I do like it, but I wonder if he needs some type of push to really get back to where he was when he first got with the team. But overall, I'm happy about it. You all know I love him too. Don't hate me. Don't hate me. I see your faces, but I just wonder.
Hey, actually, I'm glad Destiny said it because I was going to be the somber. Listen, I love Mike Tomlin, and I'm happy for the 3-year extension. I even tweeted it. But you know what? That's a good point. At some point, listen, he gave us the Super Bowl. He's the winningest coach in the Steelers history, one of the best coaches in the league, in my opinion. He's always going to be that. But I got to be a little bit honest, just a little bit, even though I'm always the one saying, well, who are you going to bring in after that? But let's say we get to year 20 and we still ain't had another ring. It's kind of like, it's not saying that he's a bad coach because y'all know I love him, but maybe sometimes you do have to make a change. So I will say this. After the 3rd year, if wow. I was about to say if there's no progress, but as far as Tomlin, progress would be a Super Bowl because we've already.
I was gonna say that. I was gonna say that myself. I would think that in the third year, if he didn't really get anything, I think it'd be a forced retirement.
Because I mean, he's given us everything else, right? We've been to the Super Bowl twice. Win one, lose one, but ever since then, we've had a consecutive 12-4. Y'all remember that? We had a 13-3. We've gone to the AFC Championship, got blown out. We play Jaguars at Pittsburgh after a bye and lose. And it's like, unfortunately, Coach T, now we need you to win us a chip. And if that doesn't happen in the next 3 years, and I know we're not being realistic because who's going to be our quarterback then? But I'm just saying. Just saying. Anybody else got anything else on that before we move on?
I would just ask how you all feel, because sometimes for me, when I look back on it, it's, the Cleveland game, the Jacksonville game. Do you feel like we underachieved with Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell, and Ben somehow? Like, do you feel that way? And if so, do you feel like it really was execution, or do you feel like it was coaching?
I don't know. For me, I think it's a lot of execution. There's certain ones, but you can't tell me this last playoff was not execution, because he didn't hike the ball trying to get a field goal. He didn't throw all those picks. So at one point, I know it seems like chicken and the egg, but at what point is it all on him? And what point is it the players and their execution?
No, you're
they
right.
all have to be accountable. So
he can coach it, but he can't go out there and execute.
But I think my one thing with our defense in the Cleveland game, what was the plan? Because they can execute, but what was the plan? Robert Spillane did end up on Jarvis Landry a lot.
Oh, God. Don't say that again.
And that should be on Butler. Then that should be on Butler or whoever the coach for that unit is.
But the only problem,
Tomlin oversees them all.
I was gonna say
he does, but it starts first to me with the position coach, because they're the ones that's writing out the plans of execution.
But
you're right.
My only problem with that is, and I even asked Arthur Motes mistakenly, like, when Coach Tomlin was with Dungy, did he create the not the cover 3? What's the other big one? The Tampa 2.
Tampa 2.
He's like, no. But we know he comes from a defensive background. We know he wasn't walking into Fickner's office and saying, yo, this is how you're going to fix the offense. I got you. He's going to be with the defense saying, look, if we're getting eaten up like this, he's looking at him saying, this is what we're doing. So my only thing is, we got far into that game and we didn't get any turnovers. We didn't get the big stops that we needed once Ben and the offense got it together. So we can say he wasn't out there, playing, and he's not the coach, the coordinator. But if that's his bread and butter, I'm looking at him to remix it and get it going a little bit better,
The only thing I would have to say to that is Andy Reid, bunch of years at Philly, a lot of fans, or he got pushed out. He go to Kansas City. He make a couple of adjustments. Boom, they get in the playoffs. Boom, they get the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And wasn't Bill Belichick fired by the Cleveland Browns?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Went on to do something else in New England.
Man, look, my only thing, and then Odessa and Laneisha, if you have anything, please come in right after this. And me and Tony and Leonard, y'all should hear Leonard, me and Leonard during the game. Kenyon, we've all asked this question. Tomlin lets his coaches coach. Great. But sometimes I do feel like, how many film sessions do you watch until you're like, all right, Keith Butler, what's going on, man? Like, I might have to take this over. Fourth quarter, you still going to let that happen? So Tomlin is the head guy, and I do think the sole responsibility falls on the position coach, but it's kind of like when even, and y'all know I hate media pundits just because some of them don't really know what they're talking about, except for ex-players. But even everybody in the media is saying, well, you know what the Steelers like to do. And it's like, come on. There's no way that y'all ain't having these discussions. So something's got to change when it comes to that. Odessa, Laneisha, you got anything on that?
Odessa muted.
Oh, you're on mute. You're on mute, Odessa. Oh, hold on. I can unmute you.
Thank you.
I may have done that. My bad.
It was you. I think things will change because we've gotten rid of Fichtner.
Yeah.
A lot of our issues had, things to do with the play calling. Just horrible play calling. So with Fichtner gone and we can get somebody else in there, with better play calling, I think that's going to make a huge difference as well.
Yeah, that helps the defense. Definitely helps the defense.
Right.
All right, Laneisha, anything before we move? Because, I don't want to jump ahead of y'all. So I'm letting y'all run the show.
Oh, no, everybody else has spoken well. So we can move on to the next topic.
All right, well, let's do that. Next topic will be, let me see. I said we will go in order, but yeah, we might as well stick to the script. So the next thing that we will talk about will be what position group or player does fans have high expectations for? First up, we'll throw it to Odessa.
Okay, I came up with Devin Bush. I think we all have high expectations for this young man. He is coming off of a catastrophic ACL injury that happened in 2020 while we played Cleveland, and we blew him out 38-7. But I think he's just ready to bud and just open up the floodgates for next season or the season coming up. And also, I think it's going to be Juju's time as well. I think he got humbled this year because of all that TikTok dancing and stuff. And he got laid out during one of the games. And also when he became a free agent, he wasn't offered $20 million like these other, wide receivers. He was offered like $8-9 million. And yes, he decided to stay with Pittsburgh, which is great. But, even the other teams, Kansas City, the Ravens, they didn't offer him $20 million. All the other wide receivers that's, up there, that's the kind of money they're making. So I think he got humbled as well. So I think he's going to have a different type of attitude coming into this season. And so I'm looking for great things from him. Oh, and also, it's time for Justin Lane to do something. He's had 2 years now to get stuff together. And we need a strong corner. So hopefully, they've been grooming him. I mean,
well,
it's time for him. It's time for him to get off the breast milk.
Yeah, see, guys, I can't say that. So thank you, Odessa. Hey, man, all I gotta say is if James Pierre passed you, then we already know what time it is with Justin Lane. So we'll see.
Right.
Laneisha, what you got?
I think it was when I was talking to Destiny and Debs last week. I said, I think I'm the shenanigans and foolishness person of the group because I said I would like to see what special teams is going to do this year. I need them to be special. While Coach Danny is chewing on that gum like it is going out of style, I need him to get that group together. I need somebody, because every time I thought Ray was heading to the end zone, he got stopped. So I said, I want to see something different from that group. But then this is more of a question, and I'm not trying to be mean. Can somebody please tell me what Derek Watt does? Okay, I know he was supposed to supposedly replace Rosie next, right? Is he on special teams? Please tell me what he does. And I don't dislike him. I just don't understand why he's there.
Wow. That is
I don't have an answer for that one. I've been wondering the same thing, Alicia.
I tried.
He has not filled that void.
Right.
Yeah, he definitely hasn't filled the void. That is a fact. So, and he's been injured, and that's not. I mean, I know you can't help that, but you know, I don't know. Destiny, what you got for us?
All right. So I mentioned that I play football, and like I told Debs and Laneisha last week, like, offense is fun, hee hee ha ha, but defense is where it's at for me. So I'm going to be looking at the secondary and how they adjust without Nelson. Depending on the depth that we get for our edge rushers, outside linebacker, can the secondary be reliable when they're not getting home? And can they still force, turnovers consistently? I just like seeing the secondary play the way they go together. Can we have less miscommunications? It seemed like that happened often last year when they came off, off of games in their pressers. It was miscommunication this, miscommunication that. So I want to see, if we draft somebody, how does that fit in? Well, if we go through camp and like Miss Odessa said, if Justin Lane is out and James Pierre is in, how does that look? And I want to see if Joe Hayden's going to double down on what I've been saying, which is that he's the number one QB on this team. Cornerback CB on this team. So I'm watching them to see what they do.
Good assessment. Love it. All right, Debbie, what you got for us?
I looked at it two ways because the question was what position group or players do fans have high expectation for? If I was to say the fans, I would say that the fans have a big expectation for a running back. Why else is there so much hype about drafting a running back first? They think that if you get this, all-star running back with the line that we've already had in place and the one that's projected to be in place, that, big things are going to happen. For me, I think I want to go back to defense because I like defense also, but more on the middle linebacker only because Devin Bush was hurt, so he'll be coming back. So I want to see kind of what he looks like trying to get back into the swing of full football, and the person that they line up against him, because I'm quite sure, even though they brought Vince back, he's not going to be the one. I don't think that's going to be starting. So I just want to see and hope that that unit could get kind of buttoned up because I'm a defensive person, but I also like runners, and I don't like them getting gashed up. So I want that to kind of be sewed up and buttoned up so that the corners don't have to come down and help out in that regard.
Yeah, I can't agree more with that. Devin Bush, I will say really quick before Sade wraps us up, I'm a little nervous. And then I'll give you my assessment after her, but I'm just curious to see what that's going to be. How is he going to bounce back? Because, is it going to be an Adrian Peterson type of resurgence after ACL? Where he was, you know what I mean?
Exactly. But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, we'll see. Sade, what you got for us?
Oh my God! Can we please get an offensive line? I mean, James Conner. Okay, he's not a premier running back. I'm not going to call him one. But he did not have a line to run behind. So even if you go and you get a premier running back, you got to think about the line that they're running behind. Like people talk about Ben's release, he didn't have a choice. He was going to be on his back if he had that ball. So can we please focus on an offensive line? Can we get a center? Are we forgetting our center retired? And he wasn't really much left in the tank for him anyway. But I feel like we got to focus on the offensive line before we get a running back killed out there. So that's my thing.
That is an excellent point.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
Go ahead, Odessa.
It's like our O-line is built for pass protection.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they hardly ever got to Ben last season, which is great. But we still got to open up holes for our running back. And I think Connor would have been more productive had we been able to do that. But they so, intent on protecting Ben. I mean, he ain't no spring chicken no more. Homeboy is up there in age. So, he's not the Ben when he won the Super Bowl 10, 12 years ago. So you got to protect that cat. They got to open up holes too. It's just what it is.
I mean, I saw that the offensive line just giving up on plays. They were like, whatever. We can't have that.
Man.
We can't
So, and
have
that's
that.
we have to have a good mix between veteran players, and we got to bring some new jacks in here too. And that's where it's hard to find that balance when you're rebuilding that O-line, because you do need that veteran presence in the locker room for that position. Those are the cats that need to have a good relationship with the quarterback, and you're going to get that from cats that have been there for a minute. You're not really going to get that from new dudes coming in. You're just not. But we need young players that got good knees too, because being an offensive lineman is a hard position, and that's not something you can do for 20 years like a quarterback. You're lucky if you do 6 or 8.
That's the lifespan.
That is a fact.
It is what it is.
That's the lifespan.
Yeah, so Odessa takes me right into my thought. What expectations do I have? Player, the 8 people that we're going to draft. Because I feel like at least, and I don't even think I'm over exaggerating. I think at least 5 of them will have to contribute. At least.
Immediately.
Yep.
Right away. If a tight end is drafted, he's going to have to play. Running back, obviously. O-line, any position. Tackle, well, maybe not guard. If we draft a guard, I still see DeCastro, and I think Dotson is going to be the other guard, obviously. But anything else, center or tackle, they're going to play, more than likely. And who else? Cornerback. He's probably going to have to play somewhere. Slot, maybe even a safety. Because when we start thinking about special teams, and I think Dangerfield hasn't been signed. I'm just saying. So that's where my expectations are, man. Once we see who we draft, I think those guys will have to play. Some of them will probably be starters, so that's going to be very interesting. So we shall see. Well, with that said, Odessa, we're going to come right back to you with the order. The next topic, and y'all know what? I've been messing up. I've supposed to have been doing this the whole time, being fancy, and I've been forgetting. Look at that.
We see you.
But there it is, man. Who do you think the Steelers will be in 2021 and 2022? And I think that's in conjunction, because obviously we hope they'll still be playing in 2022 in the playoffs. So who do you think will be? What are we going to be this season? What's your realistic expectations?
Well, let's just say I'm hoping that we're going to be more of a running team. Those are the teams that win the Super Bowl, not passing teams. That's what we need. That's what we need to be.
So take us back to the bus days, huh? Jerome Bettis style. Put Crowder in front of him. Let us run. Let's do it.
All right, we got to get back to back to smash mouth football. We got to get back to smash mouth football.
And I promise y'all, I did not know Debbie had on a bus jersey. See how the universe works? I did not know that. That was perfect. Laneisha, what do you think, man? What are we going to be? 2021.
We need a running game. If we can get the running game going, I think we have a good chance of improving and being better. And, I have to say, I do feel a little bit bad for James Conner, because I think he got blamed for a lot. But when you got a line that can't block for you can't blame that all on him. So I'm glad he got to move on, and wish him well. But we need a run game, folks.
And watch he go to Arizona and get off.
and all out.
And play all 16 games. 17 games.
Not get hurt, no injuries, nothing.
Oh, I'm gonna be mad if that. No, let me stop with that. I don't want to wish injury on him, but if he go there and don't get hurt at all and rush for 1,000 yards, I'm gonna be a little tight about that.
I might have to throw something.
Yeah, we all will, but
Destiny, what are we gonna be this year?
First, shout out to the James Conner love, because on Twitter, players always tweet, their heartfelt goodbyes, yada. And I saw fans saying, "Oh, I hope he didn't break his wrist signing his contract and stuff like that." I'm like, when did we learn this? Who are we as a base? You know,
fan base,
he is a great running back, in my opinion. I don't forget him running over 3 Bengals players and just getting those tough yards. And last year when he didn't have a line, dancing behind the line of scrimmage to get those extra yards. So shout out to him, and I do hope he does well in Arizona. And he might, since he might be sharing that load. But to go a different direction, I hope we get back to being – I think Steel Curtain is a little bit, over ambitious, but I hope we just get back to being who Tampa was down the stretch. Tampa, to me, was not the best team in the NFL last year, but in the postseason, they were the best team, and their defense won them a championship. And I won't go too far into it because I know Miss Debbie has a question that's great for it, but I hope we do things in the draft that help us be a little bit more consistent defensively so that we look like that. And to me, the run-in will follow. Leonard Fournette, he did what he had to do, but he's not necessarily the reason that they won those games. So, we need a running game, but I think your defense has to be what kickstarts everything. They almost lost to Washington, hung in there. New Orleans, defense caused turnovers. The Packers, Tom Brady had a good first half, but he threw 3 interceptions, and that defense only gave up 6 points off a turnover. Aaron Rodgers looked lost in the red zone. Aaron Rodgers. He was the MVP. Couldn't get him sick. His coach called it quits and didn't go for it on that 4th, and I don't blame him. It didn't like he would have got it, in my opinion. And we saw what they did in the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes, was missing a couple of linemen, but I just think that when you look at what the Chiefs did Week 12 to Tampa, they weren't going to let that happen again. The Chiefs, that first half in Week 12, we saw Tyreek Hill throw the deuces and get into the end zone casually, And they were like, it's not going to happen again. Even the second half that game, they flipped that script. I don't think, if I look at our defense, they were ever capable of what Tampa's defense was doing. And I want us to get back to doing that. I think our defense was elite, but can we be dominant so that when, games happen like some of them that did last year, mainly the postseason, you get at least one turnover, a whiff of a sack. I think Steven Nelson kind of blew on that pick, like, oh, there it is, now it's gone. That he could have had it, but we didn't produce much. So I hope we get back to being that team to see how far we can get if it's Ben's last year and with some new blood or some new cats, as Miss Odessa's been saying on the team.
Man, that's an excellent point because I remember at a time during the season, they pumping Tampa up to be this team. And I remember right around the midpoint, I was like, their defense is not really playing the way that I know they're capable of playing. Like the prior season, they was balling. But like you said, down the stretch and into the postseason, they started looking them like the Tampa Bay defense. So I agree with that 100%. Deb, what do you think? Who we going to be this year? 9-7?
I can't.
No, 9-8.
I kind of agree with Destiny in a way, but my thoughts are I don't have like real big expectations, only because a lot of things are going to be happening at the very start. Like we're going to have a new O-line. We don't know what our defense, especially internally, is going to look like and how they're going to like work well together. I almost kind of see some unfortunate losses, especially since the Steelers have the toughest schedule next year. I'm just hoping, in regards to what Destiny said, is that down the stretch, the O-line gets to gel more, be more consistent on defense, and we're able to go into the playoffs or still get into the playoffs, but once we get there, be able to like really show what we've worked all year for, or what the Steelers have worked all year for. But initially, in the very beginning, I don't have like high expectations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. Yikes. And I was joking when I said 9-8, but because with the extra game, but I don't know. It's some tough game. We'll see. We'll see what the draft picks do. That's the thing. The draft picks are really gonna have to contribute, and that scares me a little bit. I'm not comfortable in saying that our defense will be what it was even last season because we lost a few pieces. But we'll see. Let's see who we draft. Sade, take us home. What we doing this year?
I hope something that it resembles a run game. Can I just get the thread of a run? I would be happy with that. I'd be happy if Ben stays clean and upright. I really want to see what he does behind a more productive offensive line. Because I know he's like kind of stagnant in the pocket now. Can't really move and get out of trouble. And then I'm kind of worried about him playing behind a new center. That scares me. So to piggyback, my expectations aren't high for the first few games, but I hope like we can adjust like around mid-season and kind of end up with a winning record at least. The playoffs, that's my hope. I won't say it's an expectation at this point because I kind of feel like we're kind of trying to rebuild in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what I think fans are going to do. Not you lovely ladies and not a majority of us here on the show, but this is what those fans are going to do. Like the ones that Destiny talked about and saying James Conner, I hope he didn't break his hand. You know what they're going to say? We went 12-4 last year. It's got to be that or better. Ain't going to happen. It could. I'll be surprised, but I'm not going into this season thinking that it's not the same team. Now, could we improve in certain areas? Because let's not forget, if you can run the football, you can control some games. I still think Ben got something in the tank. I still think there's one player I do have expectations for. I almost forgot. Chase Claypool. I want to see him go to the next level. I know it's still early for him, but I think he has that capability.
So what, more routes?
Yes, I need him to. But I will honestly say, as someone who's played football and played sports, some guys are what they are. It's not always fair for fans to say, I need him to do this. But if he can improve, have a little more threat and a little more, ability to win off the line with routes, man, that kid is going to be a problem because we already know what he can do down the field. Mm-hmm. But with his strength, I would love to be able to move him around, put him inside sometimes just because, and let him get him. But I don't think he can do that now. Juju can do that, but I don't know if Claypool is that guy that can go in the slot and work. But if we can get him there, he's going to be a serious problem. But that's all I got on that. But I just think fans are going to have high expectations for that type of season, and don't think it. If they give it to us, great. But let's not go into it thinking we're going to replicate what we did last year. Mm-hmm. So with that being said, number one question of the night. I know everybody is anxious to talk about this one, and I'm going to wait until the end. I want to hear you guys, you ladies' opinion, because I think this was going to be good. Do you think the Steelers, Odessa, can they afford to pass on a running back at 24, assuming that it would be Najee Harris, which is all signs are pointing to him, or Travis Etienne? I don't think Javonte Williams is first round in their eyes. I would love him, but can we afford to pass at 24?
I don't think so. We were severely crippled in that area last season. That's something that we definitely have to address rather quickly. So if they need to trade up to get somebody good, that's what they need to do. They traded up for Devin Bush. They went out and got Minka. They did some unconventional things. They did some unconventional cats, and that's what we need to do for running back as well.
Oh, you know what? For any one of you all who say yes, I'm gonna throw the second question at you too. Which back do you want in the first round? Who's your preference? I don't know if you had a chance to see them all, but if you did, who would you like to take at 24?
I didn't do my research on the draft running back, so I'm sorry I cannot answer that. Oh no,
question. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah, only if you can. No pressure. Laneisha.
Wait a minute. Wait, Sim, you mean if your answer is yes, you can pass, or or yes, they need to take it back?
Actually, either. So if y'all can answer it either way, please let us know who you have your eyes on. But yeah, if we take one at 24, who do you prefer it to be? If you know, or if they can afford to pass, who do you think is somebody that they can get later? Which I know I have a feeling Destiny is going to have someone, because y'all remember there's somebody I'm supposed to be watching. But yeah, that's the question. So what do you think, Laneisha? Can we afford it? Can we get them later, or we got to go at 24?
I have to be honest, I haven't kept up with the draft. I've only heard a couple of names. So with this one, I don't know. I'd have to say I'm on the fence. It's like, do you run out and get somebody right away, or do you wait? So on that one, I'm gonna just pass and say I don't know.
That's fine. That is fine.
I'm just being honest.
Oh yeah, that's it. Listen, we got day jobs. We not analysts and scouts. We don't, me and Kenyon get a little nutty with it, especially Kenyon. But we don't expect everybody to do that. But Destiny, I know Destiny got an answer for us, so I ain't even gonna ask the question. She already know.
If you know the first part, you know the first part. To the no. No, I don't want to draft and run it back in the first round. I'm sorry, Jordan. I know he wants Najee, but I just, off the top of my head, I can't think of a running back that has been valuable enough to take in the first round when we need so many other positions. I think if you go most recently, we talked about this, Miss Laneisha, Debbie, you got Saquon Barkley. What's he doing for the Giants? You got Ezekiel Elliott.
He got that James Conner bug a little bit.
What's Ezekiel Elliott doing for the Cowboys? I had him in my draft last year for fantasy. He killed me every week. You got Christian McCaffrey.
What have you done for me lately?
Thank you. Christian McCaffrey. I think he's a great player.
Ooh, yeah.
He got hurt last year. Derrick Henry. He got Offensive Player of the Year last year. He didn't get the Titans past the first round. So to me, it's just usually, even though a running back is good, they're not the best player available. And as much as I love defense, if there's an offensive lineman there, I think Jenkins and Darisaw are some of the best ones I've heard that could go tackle or guard. Take them. But I think there's a lot of teams ahead of us that need linemen too. We know the Bengals do. Poor Joe Burrow. The Cowboys do too, but Jerry Jones is a little nutty. Who knows what he'll do?
He's a lot nutty. He's a lot nutty.
He's a whole lot nutty.
Crazy. Yeah. There's a lot of teams up there who need linemen. So, somebody could go before we get there. And if that's the case, then I'm going back to defense. Give me Zaven Collins. Give me a cornerback that you think is really going to be what he's about. People bring up Artie Burns all the time, but this is the thing. At some point, the Steelers are going to have to take a DB first round. Because when Hayden goes, if you're not, getting somebody in free agency, you are going to look to draft somebody. It's going to happen again at some point. I don't care. As long as football's around, they're going to have to draft a cornerback at a high position again eventually. You don't want to take somebody in the late round. So for me, no, because out of the 24 players that will be there or all the players that are available, a running back is not going to be the best player available. And a running back does not necessarily guarantee you get to the Super Bowl, you have a winning season, you get through the playoffs. And if somebody has somebody that I missed, if there's a running back out there who's done that recently, you let me know, because I didn't see anyone.
Yeah, you got a point. I mean, Derrick Henry is one in a, but like you said, have they won a Super Bowl? So, Debs, what do you think? Running back, go early or wait, get somebody in the. I'll tell y'all who I want late, but what do we do?
Destiny was in my head because everything she said, we discussed, and that is my sentiment. I think that we can hard pass on a running back. And I looked at it in different perspectives. One, I personally am of the mindset of building inside out. You build your strength inside out. Your running back is not one of the two that you can do that with. You do that with O-line and D-line. Mm-hmm. I looked at the shelf life of the position. How long does a running back last? And first round, even at 24, That's a lot for a person that maybe is 2, 3 years, 4 years, and that's a top guy.
Mm-hmm.
I also looked at the cost and value of the pick. And again, the Steelers need so many different positions. That's not the one that I think that's going to give them the most bang for the buck, even at that position, at that number 24. And then one of my biggest things is usage. How are they going to use the running back, even if they pick them at 24? Ben doesn't pass the ball to the running back all the time. It's almost like a passing offense. Hopefully Canada gets to change it up a little bit, but how much is he going to be used? That's one of the reasons why Juju didn't take the deals with Kansas City and Baltimore, because Baltimore has a running offense. Kansas City has a passing offense, but they have so many different weapons. He'd have just been one of the many weapons.
Mm-hmm.
So for me,
that'd been hard to pass though.
Running back, hard pass.
It'd have been hard for me to pass up on Pat Mahomes.
He's
I'm
a
sorry.
quarterback. He's a quarterback. I said
Man.
running back, they can pass.
If I was Juju, I would have went on out. Nah, I understand. Y'all know I love Pat Mahomes, man. But you're right. You know, how much of it's and I think that does matter to Juju. That's a good point, Debbie, man. I think that really does matter. Real players, that does matter.
Mm-hmm.
You want to play. You know, you don't want to ride the coattail and get a ring if you're a real competitor. So, Sade, I know you've been talking offensive line, so I don't want to put words in your head, but I have a feeling you're going to say pass at 24.
Keep talking offensive line. I'm going to keep talking offensive line. Look, I don't feel like James Conner was completely the problem last year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you see what he did in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like putting a premier back behind a line that really can't block for you, although we are pretty good at finding talent in later rounds as far as the line and stuff like that, I just don't feel like you can invest in a running back at 24. Like, when you got so many other holes that you got to fill on the team, I just feel like it's not a wasted pick, but I mean, even with the 5th-year option, if you get a good offensive lineman, think about how long you're going to have him, you know, versus how long you potentially have a running back. And where we find Le'Veon Bell, he was not a first-round pick. I believe it was a second-round pick, if I'm not mistaken.
Second.
So I feel like you can, So I feel like you can find that talent in the later rounds for a running back. If you got a strong offensive line and you got maulers on that line and they moving people out your way, you know, I've seen some lines I can run through. You know, so I feel like it's more about who's blocking up front too. You can get a premier running back all day, but if those offensive line can't block for you, you're in trouble. That's how.
Yeah, I don't disagree with any of you all. I feel the same way. You know, got to put the business hat on. I kind of feel like they're going to do it, though. Something's telling me that they're going to go Najee. Because speaking of which, you know, and we can kick this around if y'all want to. You know, it's a report that came out saying that the Steelers are locked on 3 players at 24. Najee Harris, Tevin Jenkins, or Landon Dickerson.
Mm-hmm.
I could kind of go with that. Dickerson is risky just because of the injury history, but that's probably what the Steelers are looking at. I know there's a sneaky defensive player in there, Zaven Collins or somebody like that, but I feel like they're going to pick Najee. I don't know why. I just feel it. I feel like they're going to go with that running back. What I would do, and let's be clear, I'm not going to be mad if they do it. Y'all know what I always say. Listen, if they decide to do that, we'll all discuss it, but okay, and let's hopefully Najee does his thing and they find offensive line, 2nd, 3rd round, or what have you. But there's a guy that I'm continuing to get more and more interested in that's going to be there later. His name is Trey Sermon.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be there, and he's kind of gives me the feeling of what I said about Javonte Williams. He has that demeanor. Man. He got it. He has that Steeler. He looked like a Steeler to me. Mm-hmm. Hard-nosed runner, good feet. You know, he's big. That's what the Steelers like. he'll be there. Even if you want to, so-called quote unquote, reach, he'll be there in a second.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't have to go running back first, I think. But however, let's be honest, because Destiny made a good point, but we know the draft always gets crazy. What if the best player available at 24 ends up being Najee? What if everybody else gone? They might take him, so it's my preference is if the offensive lineman is there, that gotta have it guy, get him. But there's also some offensive linemen later, like Kenyon mentioned. You got the kid Myers from Ohio State at center. He'll probably be there in the second round. So it's a toss-up, but I agree with you all. If I had to do it, I'll take my chances, go offensive line first or second, perhaps a defensive player, one of those rounds too, and then maybe go grab a guy like Trey Sermon in the third round or trade up in the third round if you have to get him. That's what I would do. But hey, I'm not the coach. I'm just a guy that does a little podcast. I'm not Coach Rooney.
Yeah, like 2 weeks ago, it was like all about how deep the running back class is, and now it's like only Najee could be the guy. Like I like
right.
About Trey Sermon, Javonte, Michael Carter, those guys.
Michael Carter, yeah.
When we ended the season last year, I think all the fans were saying Barry Sanders in his prime, Jerome Bettis in his prime. Don't matter. No one's running behind our line. So it's like if we take a running back high and somehow we don't address the line, or it's not as good as we want it to be, and they don't have a good year, they get hurt, so
it's a bust.
Or
yeah.
I think ironically, if you have like a Leonard Fournette, to the fans who wanted Leonard Fournette, he was a first-round pick, but he was injured a lot. He was suspended, and then he went to a different team and got a ring. So it's like,
that's right.
So it's such a gamble. Like you said, I couldn't be mad, but I would definitely be a little worried, maybe a little nauseous, like, oh boy, so we'll see. But I hope they don't.
You know what? Real quick too. I think Sade said it, and the fans, you guys listening and keeping me honest in the chat, y'all are right. We can't forget the fact that offensive line is deep, which is another reason why I think they're going to go Najee. I feel it. But to Sade's point, she brought up fifth-year option. How often does a running back get a fifth-year option?
Exactly.
I can't even think of the last time that's happened. Maybe it has. So again, from a business standpoint, you might want to look at that too if you're the GM. If there's there's talent behind 24 at running back for sure. So it's going to be very interesting, man, to see where they go with it. But we'll see. But because offensive line is deep, remember that. I think they're going to grab Najee right away because I think they love him. And that's probably how it's going to go down.
Those other two players, were they offensive guys that you named?
Mm-hmm.
You said like three different people.
Oh, Josh Myers.
Tevin Jenkins.
Tevin Jenkins. Oh, no. You're talking about the ones I read off the list. Yeah, Tevin Jenkins and Landon Dickerson, who is a monster.
They're running backs also?
No, Dickerson is a center, and Tevin Jenkins is a tackle.
And you think that they'll still pick Najee if he's available?
Yep. I just feel it, man, because
over Tevin Jenkins?
Oh, no. If Tevin Jenkins is there, this is all prefacing the point that Jenkins is gone. Maybe Dickerson is there, and then you got to weigh the injury history. But I kind of feel like, man, Colbert said a little while ago, tackle class is deep. He's already alluding to the offensive line being deep. And that's why I feel like we're in the Audie Burns, William Jackson situation again. I think they feel like they got to get one of the top running backs in their mind. And everybody pretty much knows that it's perceived to be Javonte Williams, ETN, and Najee. Or Najee, excuse me. I know he doesn't like Najee. Mm-hmm. I feel like they just going to – I think they're going to take him at 24 if he's sitting there. Now, if he's gone, then I have no idea. But
then those deep tackles and O-linemen got work to do.
Exactly.
But I wonder how they feel about the fact that he has such a good line to run behind. Like, what does that mean when you get to the NFL? Like, I don't see why he's this perceived guy all of a sudden. Like, I like a guy who will make somebody miss or go over, and he's been doing it so much. But behind a good line, so I don't even get it. Like, I don't know if he's a good player.
That boy Dickerson, man, he running right behind Dickerson. Had he not had, listen, for everybody that doesn't know, he had both ACL tears. That's hurting his stock, but that dude is a stud. I would love to have him. Even if the Steelers reach on him and take him in the first, y'all know my motto. I'm just gonna pray we bubble wrap him, and because that dude is a mauler. Put him beside Kevin Dotson, who I think is gonna be another mauler, and that man DeCastro. We should be able to run left and right, straight up the middle with no problem. But we'll see. We'll see. It's all speculation. All right. Well, the last topic here, fan perspective. And this doesn't have to be the last topic. We can still kick it for a little while after this. But the fan perspective, you all said general thoughts, visits to the stadium, training camp, and etc. So, Odessa, I'll let you kick it off.
Well, from a fan perspective, with COVID still going on, probably not going to be too many visits to the stadium. Like they normally have the training camp and everybody's out there eating and they got their families. It's just not where we're at in the world today. So that kind of puts a damper on the hype of football. But I mean, that's really all I have to say for that question.
Have you ever had a chance, by any chance, have you been able to go to Heinz Field or see the Steelers in a real game, like in your area, wherever it may be?
Well, I grew up in Ohio in a town called Warren, which is about an hour and a half from Pittsburgh. So in that area, they are split between the Steelers and the Browns. But the last time I was up there when they were in Three Rivers, which was many, many moons ago. I was very young.
Yeah, I never went to Three Rivers, so you got me beat there.
Yeah.
Laneisha, what you got for us?
All right. I will do my best to give you the Reader's Digest version of this story. In 2019, I got to take the tour of Heinz Field and go to training camp with my nephew. That was his graduation present from high school. And the lady that we had for the Heinz Field tour was great. Her name was Beverly. She was serious. It was 20 of us, right? So she says, here's what we're going to do. So she's like, you better be ready to walk. I said, okay, Beverly, let's go. So we got, it's one thing to see it on TV, but to actually go there and see the Hall of Honor and to see all the Lombardis lined up. We got to go to the stadium and stand by the Heinz Field sign. We got to go around the stadium. We got to go to the media room. We got to go to the private suites. Carl Rosner that takes the pictures. You got to see all the pictures on the wall. Of course, the favorite spot for everybody was the locker room. And trying to get a picture actually in the locker room, it was tough. You just elbowing people. It's like, get out of the way. So at least I got a picture. But, it's a good time. And it's only $10. So if they ever open it back up, I would say it's worth the $10 and the 90 minutes to go. My favorite part was training camp. We went both days, Friday and Saturday. I think it usually starts around 1 o'clock. It opens up to the fans. You can meet Coach Tomlin, but there's only 20 people. We just missed it. You get to line up and he'll take your picture and, do the whole thing. And there's some activities in the back. If you want food, you have tickets. You can get tickets for water and that kind of thing. But I will tell you, it is hot. I'm talking hotter than a cat on a hot tin roof. So wear your hat. I think I didn't get to go to training camp last year. Got my hat. Get your water going. But my favorite part, because I come from a long line of shoppers, my nephew and I, it's like, let's go in this tent. Oh my gosh. They had every kind of terrible towel you could think of.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of nice too, because they had different t-shirts and just all kinds of, you name it, they had it. But the best part, hold on, was at the end. When everybody lines up and you wait for the players to finish practice and they come through and sign autographs. Now you got to get a little creative because my nephew and I were looking around trying to find a place to stand. And luckily there was this family, I think of 4 people, and the lady saw us and she said, come on over. So we nudged our way over there And then you see arms flying, Sharpies going up. People, I mean, it gets serious. Elbowing off. But the whole time I was there, I said, "Don't be mean, because you're here for the kid, right?" My nephew and I have the same 2 jerseys. Big Ben Roethlisberger, number 7, at Juju Smith-Schuster. So I said, if we don't do anything, we're going to get those autographs. So I'll save it. Remember old Duck Hodges? We got Duck Hodges. I got Justin Lane. Remember Eli Rogers? I got Eli Rogers. But I looked up and there he was, folks, number 7, Big Ben Roethlisberger coming down the line. So I pushed my nephew up and I was like, go get his autograph. So he got his autograph. And see, this is why I don't like people talking about Juju. Don't be talking about Juju. Juju was the last person out there signing autographs, hugging people, taking pictures, just being himself. Did he get Juju's autograph? He did. And I was like, oh man. So since we can't go back, and like I said, every time I see my nephew, I say, remember the autographs you got? They're in this nice clear box that my sister put your hat and your terrible towel in. I threatened to steal it from him, but then he gives me this look like, I don't think so, lady. You're not taking these from me. But I mean, it was so much fun. Like I said, it's one thing to see those people on TV or, maybe doing an interview, but to actually see them in person that close and just interacting with the fans was a lot of fun. And I have to say, everybody was really nice. Nobody acted up. Now, I will turn myself in. I did participate in the Boswell category. He was down practicing. And remember the year before when he was missing all those field goals? People were down there yelling, Boswell, get it together, man. What are you doing? So I was down there yelling, and I had to throw my 2 cents in. I thought, why not? But there are people who, Sim, you probably know this. They make it, kind of an annual trip. Mm-hmm. So since we couldn't go to training camp last year, probably won't go this year, we hope to at least get to a game, hopefully by the end of the year. So like I said, if you get a chance to either tour the stadium or go to training camp, go. You won't regret it.
Man, great story. And I apologize if I missed it, but where are you traveling from? Like, where do you live?
See, I live in Florida, and my nephew lives in North Carolina. So we just took we left on Friday and took the early flight and got in about 10 o'clock. So we had time to kind of get together before training camp started at 1.
Man, that's cool. I don't know if anybody else's story gonna match that one. I've never been to training camp.
I keep trying to get back.
Wow, love it. Destiny, what you got for us?
Yeah, thanks for sharing. I want to make sure I get to a training camp when it's possible again. That sounds like
it's right.
It's
fun.
Get it. Yeah. So
and it's
I've been in Hinesfield. My dad surprised me. We went to a game when they were playing the Cardinals. I won't forget it because it was that crazy game. Big Ben was out, and you can attest this if you've seen him in person, just on the sideline. I did not realize how big of a man he is. Just looking at him on the sideline, he was hurt. Michael Vick started that game. I remember just looking down and going, "Oh my gosh!" Like for a quarterback, like he is huge. So it was the game Michael Vick was in, and I love Michael Vick, man, one of the original number 7s, but he was stinking it up. I don't know how him and AB never connected when he played. I don't know what happened. And Jarvis Landry, Baby Ben, they used to call him, he came in, and we had a comeback to win that game. It was crazy. I think it was Martavius Bryant.
It was, and I was at that game. I was there.
Yeah, I'll never forget just being in the stadium with other Steelers fans when they're not saying crazy stuff that make you go, "What are you talking about?
Oh yeah,
why are you in this fan base?" When the towels are going, is nothing like it. That was an amazing game. It was cold, and I was like, "We got to take this L," and for it to turn around the way it did, I'll never forget it. I had chills, so it made me like just happy that I'm a Steelers fan, and it was something I'll never forget.
Man, we saw how fast Martavius Bryant was in that game. Because if you guys remember, because Destiny, I don't know what side you were. I was sitting on the Steelers side.
Yeah, same.
When he reversed field and I just saw him start to pull away, I said, "Yo, this dude is about to score." I don't believe it. Off a slant.
Yes.
It was amazing. Amazing. But yeah, that's interesting, man. Small world. Look at that. We were at the same game.
Right?
What you got, Debs? I have a feeling that I didn't ask this, but just judging by the sound, let's say that. You from Jersey?
Yes, I am.
That's what I thought. So it is a change. I can always recognize Jersey because I got a lot of family from New York, and I've been up and down New York and Jersey. So I never asked that question till, well, this is probably the first time I've heard you speak. Probably, no, you've called before, I think.
Yeah, I called it.
But so you've probably been to Heinz Field.
No, I haven't.
You haven't? Okay.
I've been to Heinz Field, but for different reasons. I was out there when the Steelers won the Super Bowl with Bill Cowher when he last won, and when Tomlin won. I went to Pittsburgh to go through the celebration and all that. But I've never been to a Steelers game at Heinz Field. I've been at a Steelers game, like preseason games in Jersey at Giant Stadium on the Meadowlands when they would play like the Jets or the Giants in preseason or something like that. But I've never been to Heinz Field to actually see a game.
Got you.
The most I've been, as far as like a lot of, other than the Super Bowl parades and stuff like that, as far as fan perspective, I went to the Hall of Fame in Canton when Jerome Bettis went in.
Oh,
and I'm actually looking, hopefully, to go this year because I was supposed to go last year before COVID to see Troy go in.
For Troy, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would love to do that too. I haven't done that, and I hear from other Steelers fans to actually be there and be a part of that when the Steelers is inducted. So yeah, that's something I'm definitely gonna look into. But thank you for sharing as well, Sade. Any stories you got for us?
Sadly, I've never been to the Steelers game. I was supposed to go for the first time last year.
We can hear you, but you sound far away.
Oh, I said, sadly, I've never been to a Steelers game, but I was supposed to go last year. And all this stuff happened. My plans got ruined.
Yeah, COVID, man. COVID is something, and we still dealing with it. So hopefully we can get rid of that because I would love to go. Just to tell my quick stories, I probably started going consistently as far back as 2013, 2014 maybe. So I've been trying to go to at least a game every year. Sometimes I've been fortunate to go to two. Where I live in Pennsylvania is closer to the Baltimore side. Like I'm in between Baltimore and Philly. So I'm like an hour or so from Philly. So needless to say, anybody who's familiar with Pennsylvania, that means I'm still 3 hours away from Pittsburgh. But I've been out there several times. Like I think Laneisha said, seeing the Lombardis and just even in the stadium, the bottom part was just showing all of the different collectibles and like replicas of the locker room and all of the different types of towels. I mean, you can't even imagine the type of terrible towels and t-shirts they have out there. But the biggest thing, I've always said this to folks, if you are a fan of a team, whatever the sport it is, and since we're talking about the Steelers, let's just say football, it's nothing like being there for some of those moments and feeling it in person. And I've been fortunate to be at some of those memorable moments. The Cardinals game, I was at the Colts game when Minka took that thing 96 yards. Me and my cousin Floyd, that y'all hear me talk about a lot, he's probably in the chat, lost our voice completely because we literally was like, like screaming because we see this dude using all of that 4.4, 4.3 speed or whatever that he got. I mean, moments like that you will always remember. I also was at the game, I want to say 2015, when we played Drew Brees and the Saints. And we literally saw Ike Taylor. That was his last season. And it hit us like a ton of bricks when we saw the ball. I mean, in person, it looked like the ball was in the air for 10 seconds. And you just watching it. You're watching it. And you see Ike Taylor chase it. And you see the receiver catch it. And in that moment, we looked at each other. And at that time, it was my wife and his wife. Me and Floyd and our wives were all together. We was like, Floyd. He said, yeah, I know, Floyd. Ike is done, bro. He's done. Also in that game, he's toast. Another heartbreaking moment in that game. That was the same game where Brett Kiesel tore his tricep. And we saw it in real time. I was like, yo, Keys was hurt. We seen him, how he was running. But it's just those moments, man, if you can. I know some people are on the other side of the world, like Kenyon, man, is in LA, out there in La La Land. But we might have to make it happen one day, Kenyon. We get a trip together. I know you got to travel a little further. We got to make it happen. Got to go to the game. You got to experience it in person. Or at least the next closest thing is go to a game when it's maybe in your area, another team that they're playing. But that's all, man. I've had some memorable moments there. We've gone through the list, though, but I will ask you all, is there anything else that we're forgetting? Anything, freelance you all want to talk about? Y'all want to answer chats or what have you? Whatever you guys want to do.
Sim, I have to agree with you on one point. I like Williams better than I like Harris. That's just my personal opinion. I mean, the boy doesn't go down. Yeah, his yards after contact are crazy. Like, he does not go down. Like, you can hit him, and he'll spin in the opposite direction and keep going. I've never seen nothing quite like it. So we're going to take a running back. I would rather have that one, to be honest.
He's special. He is special. And it hurts me because, the conventional wisdom will tell you that we all know if Tomlin or Colbert is at your pro day, top, Power 5, conferences, yada, 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 that's probably going to be the first round pick. So it did sting me a little bit that they were not in North Carolina's pro day. Eddie Faulkner was there, running back coach, but they were not. So it, if you want to believe that, it makes you feel like maybe they don't get him in the first, but I don't know if he's there at 55 in the second round. I just don't. I know there's somebody else, some other organization that views him the same way we do. Or they might pull an Andy Reid like when he got Pat Mahomes. It might be somebody like the Dolphins that recognize that and be like, oh, we want him. Y'all can have Najee. We want Williams. I think they pick at 18 or something like that. But man, that's my guy. Love that kid. I really do. And again, I think we're getting we get a lesser version of that, and that's not a disrespect, but I think Trey Sermon can give us that. I think we can get that type of game from Trey Sermon. So if we want to wait, but we'll see.
A different
Anything
topic.
else?
Yeah,
go ahead.
I don't know if you all heard about it. Little Al visiting the Ravens.
Oh yeah.
Arthur Motes was cracking me up talking about that. He was like, he can be like a Trojan horse and go over there and fool them with his okay pass protection. And then when they go to run the ball, he's like, just keep doing what you're doing now, and we'll be okay to see you all twice a year like that. So I don't know if some fans, do you feel like it stings that might be a team that he goes to? You happy about it? Indifferent? We care?
He don't want, I told Kenyon this earlier, he wants no parts of that ghost rush from Highsmith. There's no way he can defend that. There's no way. He can't defend that. No. I think Highsmith would eat against him because of just their different stature and, again, him dipping so low. Man. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead over there.
Man, the dip and the speed that Highsmith has, like Arthur kept saying whether it's Watt or Highsmith, but I think it would have to be Highsmith if he's going to play left tackle.
Yeah, it'd be Highsmith. Unless you never know. Maybe I doubt it, but I was going to say, what if they switch Watt back? Because they did that because of Dupree. Yeah. But I like Watt on the right side of the defense. Well, if you're on defense, he's the left side. But us viewing it, it's the right side. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Those are my thoughts. Let me see let me know if y'all have anything else. I could throw a few of these comments. Y'all probably can see them too. We can read a few, and we'll wrap up the show. Let me see. What do we have? Don't be shy, that y'all got them on now. Send some questions. But the only thing I will say is y'all better be respectful. Oh, let me tell y'all this funny story. So I'm trying to be super respectful, right? Even when I went to the thumbnail. So I'm looking through the thumbnails. I'm trying to find a thumbnail that represents the ladies. And you guessed it. The one I have there, I think is the most appropriate. But you bet you guessed it. When I was searching, y'all should have seen some of these pictures that was coming up. I was like, I can't.
I can imagine.
I can't. They not gonna respect me the same if I use one of the. I'm talking about bikinis and boy shorts. I'm like, come on.
You're like, come on.
I know y'all would have felt the way if I did that. Y'all would have been like, look at him trying to be. So I think the one I chose was the most appropriate. It looks like ladies having fun on the football field. Mm-hmm. But I challenge y'all in the chat. Go search female or women Steeler fans and watch what comes up. That's for you fellas.
Like
a whole bunch of foolishness.
Yeah, I told down here that I play football, and he was like, he's a Hispanic guy. He's a cool guy now. I cycle with him and his wife. He was like, oh, with the bras? I was like, no. I was like, not lingerie football. He's like, like this one with the bras and the panties. I'm like, no.
I ain't mad at him though, because that's the only. Look, that's the only one they show us.
Yeah.
You got to go come here. They actually had a real football league. Like I saw DC had a team, but you got to search for that. Mm-hmm. If you just put in women football, the lingerie is popping up.
Yeah.
That's what's happening.
St. Louis was the first place I lived where the scene was heavy. They have a padded team that actually won the national championship last year. They were on ESPN. Then they have contact flag football for women too.
And I gotta say, call me crazy, and I know Destiny will agree. Some of them running backs, tough, tough, bro. Vision, balance, nasty with it.
Man, you all this people will be surprised how big it is too. I came down to Florida. I don't know if some of the women who are in Florida know it, but they have a national or world championship flag football tournament every year in Florida. It was in Palm Beach this year. I mean, it's crazy. I'm talking over 200 teams. They do a draft at SeaWorld. It's money for a cash prize.
Good Lord.
One running back. She was, I don't even know who to compare her to, like just for a guy. But you want to talk about a running back taking you to a chip? She did. There was no one that could stop her. She would run like off balance. Like you would think you could grab her like this way, and she already like spinning back this way, and she would run with her mouthpiece in her mouth, and I'm like, oh my goodness! Like it was just the speed and the athleticism. People sleep on the ladies, but I'm telling you, I've seen and I've been a part of women who, if a guy wants to step to you to challenge you, all right.
It was the same with basketball. You know how that was when the WNBA first started. But listen, because my sister-in-law played ball. Like, so I've been seeing it from a long time. Yeah. And now you can see some of them girls be out there really hooping. So, you can't. I try to get away from those stigmas. Yeah. Sports is sports. Athletics is athletics. Obviously not being funny, but obviously, guys are made to be stronger and things like that. But you cannot sleep on the skills.
So. Oh, yeah. Yeah, biologically, you all got us.
Well, it doesn't look like we have a lot of comments, man. I'll read this one from Rail Facts, and then we can all, give you sign-offs. And first and foremost, let me read that. He says, most likely not going to happen. I think he's replying to somebody. He says, well, would you entertain he's talking to us. Would you entertain the idea of the Steelers possibly trading up for any of the top three corners if they fell within striking distance? Good job, ladies. Absolutely good job, ladies. And I'm going to get to that. I'll answer that first, and then I'll throw it to you all. No.
Took my answer.
Let's not do that. And it's a sticky answer because it's not like I'm not fronting on those guys. But I just feel like our first round cornerback efficiency just hasn't hit. Mm-hmm. But I love J.C. Horn. Mm-hmm. I love Stokes from Georgia. That kid is special. I like Caleb Farley, but I'm a little concerned with his, the back issues. He just had a little back procedure. I don't know if you trade up for one of them. I think at this stage, what you do, because we have so many other holes on the team, you rely on Joe Hayden as a veteran. You rely on Cam Sutton, which that's another guy we could put on the list. I have expectations to see what he's going to do now being the guy, whether it's, in slot or on the outside, and see what Pierre or Justin Lane can give you. Or, of course, they're going to draft another DB later in the draft. I just don't think we can afford, honestly, if I'm being honest, I don't think we can move up to the first or second in this year's draft. We need as many of those picks as possible. If we want to move up later on, like to get somebody in the third or something like that, and it's not going to cost you so much, okay. But to move up in the first or second round, that's going to cost us too much. And we got too many holes right now to do that. So that would be my thoughts on them. Ladies, anybody got anything on that?
Heck, I'm trying to move down to get some more draft capital.
Exactly.
Of anything, we need more draft picks. We don't need to be trading up and giving away draft picks. I mean, that's just the way I see it. Like you said, we got way too many holes. If anything, if we feel like somebody drops and we can wait on them, I'd rather trade down and get more capital. That's my personal opinion.
Ironically, that might happen if somebody like Najee, let's say I'm lying because if he's there, they're going to take him. But if somebody else falls, let's say Justin Fields or somebody like that, that might reset the whole draft. Mm-hmm. And the Steelers might say, well, if it's falling like this, oh, yeah, we can wait till the second round and get this guy. Let's go ahead and get some more picks. We had 24. It's only, 6 more or 7 more, whatever, behind us. Well, 8, I guess you would say. Yeah. So, yeah, that's a possibility. It all depends on – y'all know the draft is weird like that. It's always 1 or 2 players that shakes everything else up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, then everybody's almost like Rakim following the leader.
Yeah.
So everybody got to get one.
Exactly.
That was a good question. It reminded me, too, I was going to mention it. I saw that the Giants and Dolphins now, too. I think he mentioned – and the Panthers, they're all interested in trading down, and those are all top 10 teams. And I was wondering if you all thought – one, I would say no, we shouldn't trade up for a DB. I do like J.C. Horn a lot too. Like just his mindset. Like I think he's got like that Mamba mindset. Like no one's better than me because I put in the work to be the best kind of guy. And then he goes out there and proves it. But with so many teams willing to trade down, we talk about the Steelers doing things, that are non-traditional. Do you think that with so many of them that they will bite at that? I don't want them to. I'm with you all. We have so many other needs. I would hope that we would trade down. But do you think with so many teams offering, they're up to 3 or 4 now, do you think they leave? Do you think they're feeling frosty?
It depends, though. I guess the question would be who's the target?
QB.
And trade up with what? We got like 8 picks. We don't have a 5th round pick, do we?
Yeah, nope. But
do we trade our 5th round pick?
They want to trade down, then they would take our 1st round pick and maybe a 2nd round pick.
Yeah, they'll take something.
Exactly.
QB.
No, I don't really see anybody that's too much worth that. Not the capital that we got. If we had more draft picks, maybe, but I don't really see anybody worth moving up. The tight end classes, trash.
And I think we just signed a futures contract. I saw that earlier. A tight end. Jones, I think. I could have the name wrong, but I think it was somebody in the chat can correct me on that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be the question. Who would we go get? Like who?
Well, if you trade with the Panthers, you're sitting at 8, and like you said, someone would have to slip. I think I can't remember. The Dolphins are sitting at 6.
Dolphins.
Giants are.
Lions at 7, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I have a question. I got one more thing to throw at y'all so we can kill the debate. Do you guys think that we should try to get a quarterback in this year's draft?
I don't think so.
No.
With those,
I don't think so.
I don't know if they will.
Why should we? We got Dwayne Haskins.
And we just re-signed Dobbs too.
Yeah, we got 2 great quarterbacks. No, I don't. I wouldn't. I mean, see, there's that tricky thing again. What if I know Kenyon, and I agree with Kenyon with this. Ohio State quarterbacks have not panned out.
Mm-hmm.
What if Justin Fields is sitting there at 24? I mean, does that change anything?
Not for me.
Okay.
I wouldn't pull the trigger. I would not pull the trigger. Who gonna protect him?
Exactly.
Yeah. There you go.
I'll back to protect him. Don't you worry.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, if there's somebody you want to kick the tires on, Jamie Newman that is sitting in the third round, maybe. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I am a little concerned with our backup situation.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, preseason can allow those guys to get some work. But Mason Rudolph, I mean, I haven't thrown him in the trash yet. I still think he has enough to at least be a stopgap, but I don't know. Dobbs.
But do you think you could find somebody in the third round that's better than Mason Rudolph? That's like significantly better?
That's the question. See, you
get another Mason Rudolph.
Right.
That's
right. So you might as well keep him.
If you're not getting one of the top quarterbacks, you're not getting none.
I have no idea.
Isn't there a quarterbacks coach this year for the team?
Yeah.
So maybe he can. Yeah, and maybe we can So maybe we can coach up Haskins or Dobbs or Rudolph and be set. You just never know.
I'm gonna give y'all my dream scenario, and then we can close out. And this is just a pipe dream. My dream scenario would be with the teaching or tutelage of Mike Sullivan and Matt Canada. Dwayne Haskins turns into an outstanding player for some reason. I mean, he just has a resurgence. He's all committed now. He's no longer inviting. How can I say this?
Ladies of the night.
Ladies of the night.
No longer inviting them into his living room during the season. Just never a good idea, sir. I'm not saying you can't have entertainment. I'm just saying during COVID, and I don't know what you were thinking there. What if he turns out to just be Ben retires and Dwayne Haskins? Now he's wearing number 7 because that's his original number. And he is balling in Matt Canada's system. And we got him where everybody was ready to throw him in the trash and it ain't cost us nothing. Buys us 2 or 3 more years.
I don't think that's like he has all the tools. He has all the tools. He's a first round. He has that first round pedigree, so I don't think that's necessarily too far fetched. A lot of quarterbacks go to a different team of flourish. So, I mean, you might be onto something there, and you can say you're the first one to say it.
I would say pipe dream as well, because you really think they're gonna give out number 7 after Ben retires?
Oh yeah, that's true. I didn't see. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, they may retire that number.
Yeah,
you may request it.
Pipe dream though. Like I can't remember who said it, but I think Justin Fields might pan out. I like him. I don't know. I don't want to get too far into the Trevor Lawrence debate, but it's hard to see where a player's going to go when they're surrounded by a lot of talent, and you have to come into the NFL and elevate.
It's totally different.
It's completely different.
Yeah.
So I think Justin Fields has shown that he can do that. And I think he may have taken to develop. Yeah, I think Dwayne Haskins should have stayed in college longer to develop. I get why he came out, though. It could have been his best chance to. So we'll see. I'm on board with this dream, though. I'm on board, Sim.
I ain't gonna lie though. Dwayne Haskins, putting myself in his shoes at his age at the time, from the DMV area, right outside of DC, you throw 50 touchdowns in college, I'm going to the draft.
Yeah.
And nobody can convince me otherwise. Bye. I'm entering the draft.
Well, first, we gotta understand that these people are people too. They're in the spotlight, so they're what they do. The wrongs that they do are highlighted. But it's kind of like looking back at me at that age with that type of pedigree, that type of, it's different because you expect them to act professionally, but these are actually kids. So
Yeah,
we
in their
have to look at
20s.
it that way. Like we've been kids once, and we know how it is to be young, you know. So I think the second chance, we can kind of just kick the tires on him and see what he has. But he actually has the tools to actually be successful. So
That is a great point. And like Mr. Winningham has said here in the chat, you know, at his age, I've been around some essential workers a time or two in my lifetime, so I understand. Yeah, you know, I lived in Atlanta for a couple of years. I'm just saying.
essential worker.
Oh, you was hanging out at Magic City?
Oh man, hey, I'm just saying. I used to go to Atlanta all the time. You know, I could even tell you where the best one is. You know, Magic City is kind of like I won't get into it, but you know, I get it.
Right.
With millions of dollars.
They're young.
Yeah, they're young.
In their 20s, they don't know anything. They just all about having fun.
Just have fun in the off season.
Social media and cameras everywhere. Everything they do is out on display, and that wasn't like that for us when we was younger, doing stupid stuff.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But that's all. I don't hold such a high regard on these guys. I mean, we all been there, you know, especially guys. I mean, even ladies, you know, ladies, I know there's ladies who had more fun when they was 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 than they would in the older age. So I don't judge these guys, man.
We don't know what you're talking about, Sim. We have no idea what you're talking about.
I didn't say anything. I said ladies. I didn't say you ladies. I generalized it. But all right, man, we can go ahead and bring this to an end. And before we do, I'm going to let each and every one of you sound off yourselves. And I want to say, on behalf, of course, myself and the show, great job. I'm really appreciative and thankful that you all agreed to do this, because it was just an idea, and I'm glad that you all obliged it. Phenomenal job. Wanted to highlight you all because y'all do a great job in the chat. You know your football, and you're just fans. You know, we don't have to put that stigma on it. Oh, she's a girl, and no. Y'all have always come in, kicked in the door, and showed us that you knew what you were talking about. So I want to make sure everyone respects you all the same way they may respect, you know, a guy's opinion. So again, I humbly thank you for coming on, and hopefully we can do this again. I mean, I want to do this maybe during the season, or maybe, you know, after the draft. Like we can have every now and then, we can have the ladies still table, and then me and Kenyon and Tony do the men's still table. But, you know, so it doesn't have to be a one-time thing, but that's up to you all. But starting with Odessa, if y'all want to give your sign off, so we can go ahead and put a bow on this one.
I want to thank everyone for tuning in to the Lady Steeler panel, and hopefully we can do this again sometime.
Absolutely. Laneisha?
I'd like to thank everybody who tuned in. You know, I found this chat when Big Ben went down and we went 8-8, and I always like to call Debs the first lady of the chat, so I appreciate her. Sim, Kenyon, Tony, Wide Diggy, C. Anton Hill, Sippy Boy, Fair Late Nights, Ralph Fax, Jordan. You know, I like Jordan because every time I see him, I say, yo, Jordan. So if I missed anybody, I'm sorry, but I appreciate all of you.
Destiny.
I just want to say first, thank you to Sim. I'm somebody who's a fan of just the Steelers in general, so I listen to a couple of podcasts, and this is the only one where you make it a point to really highlight the women and make sure we get our props too, and make sure there's no distinguishing between it. We just know football. We just know the Steelers. So thank you. Thank you to the first lady of Steeler Nation, Miss Debbie, for embracing me, Laneisha, Odessa, Sade, everyone. Thank you. I have felt welcome ever since I came in, so I appreciate that. I appreciate everyone for tuning in. Much peace. Thank you.
And I'm actually going to throw it to Sade, because I think it's only right for us to allow the first lady to close us out, right? So Sade, what do you got for us?
All right. I am so appreciative. Like, I appreciate you for doing this, Sam. I appreciate all of you ladies. I've spoken to Deb personally. That's a really nice lady, man. I'm grateful to just Steeler Nation. I'm just here to be a fan. And I'm thankful.
Absolutely. So, first lady of the chat, Lady Steelers, whatever we want to call her, we're just gonna call her the first.
Lady
Deb
for
us.
Well, first of all, I want to thank Sim for allowing us the ability to be on the platform and kind of discuss the team that we all love, that we all follow through thick and thin, through those jaw-tightening moments, like watching spread formation 2 yards from the red zone.
That's Ben Roethlisberger. 5 wide.
And also thank all you women because, again, I mean, I didn't feel lonely being in the chat in the beginning because all the guys were welcoming. But it is good to have other females in the chat just to, kick it and bounce ideas off and have a different perspective on the game. So thank you all.
Yeah, we have to do that. I mean, even on a personal level, what can we do without women, right? You got to have women there to balance you, so I'm always going to do that. I'm always going to represent for the ladies and give you a fair shake because I know people don't. You see it on these talk shows sometimes and you see how they just throw the one lady on and it's like they don't be respecting them. Like if you really pay attention, they don't be respecting them. And some of them really know what they talk about. Shout outs to like Jamel Hill.
Yeah.
So I'm always going to do that. So y'all always have a platform here. And I'm as equally grateful to you all as you all have said you are of me. So please believe that. And I got to share this. Debbie is so official. Y'all should have seen the way she formatted her email. Man. Debbie is the truth. I'm just going to say that Debbie is nice instruction. I even showed my wife. I said, look at this. I'm used to people just saying, sure. Like, no. Debbie said, we have talked. This is what we have. She gave me bullet points. That's what I'm see. I told y'all Debbie is the first lady for a reason, man. But if we don't have anything else, man, I guess we'll go ahead and go. Remember, next week, Kenyon, hopefully Tony. I know Tony has a lot of things going on in the evenings now, so that's why you all haven't seen him in a while. A lot of times he's in the chat like he is tonight. But next week, we will do a steel table again to kind of prep for the draft. And then draft night, we'll do another steel table. And we'll be talking about the draft live and in action. And maybe what we'll do if you all are available, I'm always going to leave it up to the ladies. Maybe one day, one of those draft nights, maybe the Friday night or the Saturday night, if y'all are available, we can come back and discuss that. But I don't know. No pressure on that. But we'll see.
I'm with it.
All right. Well, I will definitely keep you all informed. Again, if you haven't already, I got to do the shameless plug. Make sure you subscribe, cut on your notifications, hit the like button. God bless. Stay safe. And we out. Hope you guys enjoy. Peace.
Goodbye, everybody.